It's time for Ask the Mayor with Beatrice Mayor, Stan Worth, our regular Thursday morning show. 228-5923 if you have a question for the mayor today. We might even get some rain today. That would be nice.
That'd be nice. You know, it's Spring Nationals, so it's about that time when it starts to rain, and it seems like if that's what it takes to get rain, we ought to have Spring Nationals every week.
Well, you know, and it might just wet down the track enough that conditions would be perfect.
It's awful dry, so
it
may not harm anything.
Yeah. We mentioned plenty of times before, but I think you got this week's mayor program, next week's. Then after that, you'll drop one of your jobs.
Drop one of my jobs, yeah. After 46 years, I'm going to quit driving to the same place every morning.
Looking forward to kind of, you know, I always kind of wonder about when you get to retirement. Obviously, there's mixed emotions because you like doing something.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, it's major life change, and you kind of wonder, hey, how am I going to deal with this?
Right. Well, you know, there is some anxiety to it because I enjoy what I do. But you get to a certain age when you have to figure out when your check engine light's going to come on. And so just felt it's time to probably step aside, let somebody else take over the reins and kind of do what I want to do. Still going to be mayor through the end of the year, and that will occupy some of my time, and some of the other time maybe have some recreational activities.
Yeah. As you look back over your mayoral service and the number of things that have been accomplished as you head into the last few months of job as the mayor of Beatrice, do you look at anything that is out there that maybe you think, gosh, I'd kind of like to get this moving, or some type of project or something, or are you pretty well sasatisfied with what's been happening?
No, I think there's other things that still are left on the table, and I'm certainly in favor of Bob Morgan, who is running for mayor to be our next mayor. He has the same philosophies and ideas that I do. One thing that I wish we would have gotten further on is the Dempster property. That seems to be something that has been looming and will be looming for some time, and so the next individual that goes in there, and I hope it's Mr. Morgan, he has the same philosophy that we've got to move on this project and do whatever we can to remove that property from our community.
Part of it's been assessing what all's there and the procedures for taking care of it. Is that pretty much done with the EPA now?
No, EPA was there last week again, still trying to figure out what is in some of the quart jars and in the 50-gallon barrels and some of the other containers that are on site. It's just difficult for them to just come in and say, yeah, this is okay, and let's dump that down the drain. Can't do it. So after all these years, when you don't have something that's labeled and it's sitting on the shelf, you've got to take all the necessary precautions to make sure that it is removed and removed safely.
Okay. Well, before we get into the bulk of our program today, I wanted to ask you about the most important thing. Who are you picking to win the NCAA Men's Tournament? Or do you get into that?
I think it's just because I like the way the name rolls off your tongue. Gonzaga.
Gonzaga. That's who I got too. Man, we think alike here, and I think even Dave Needfelt was saying he's got them too. But
Auburn and Arkansas are a couple of other good contenders, but and maybe Iowa on the outset. But still like Gonzaga.
Seems like there's 10 or 12 teams that if they get hot at the right time, you never know. So. And congratulations to the Lady Husker women there in the women's tournament. I think they play Gonzaga first round.
I think they do.
Right. So good luck to them. Well, we'll move off the basketball team right now. But kind of an unusual thing today. Usually Board of Public Works usually meets on a Wednesday. I think they're meeting today, if I remember right.
That is correct.
One of the things on their agenda is a Rural Economic Development Grant. What's being thought of there?
No, there's a couple of them that we're going to talk about. One of them is a project it's financed through the electrical department is eligible for the grant, and it is up to $300,000, and it requires a 20% match or $60,000 from the city. Once the city receives the money, we can loan it out to any qualifying company, and we have chosen to loan this money out if the Board of Public Works approves it to Beatrice Community Hospital. They have a project on the books that they are in need of some equipment, and it's called the Mindray Telemetry Monitors. And what that does, it monitors the electric activity of your heart over an extended period of time. The recordings taken during the month of monitoring shows what healthcare programs are needed and if there are any problems with your heartbeat.
So rather expensive item and a little bit of assistance here.
It is, and so once they pay that back, then it becomes a true revolving loan fund, and then we can do that for other businesses that apply for it.
You mentioned there was another.
I might have misspoke there.
Okay,
I thought
right.
there was two of them on the agenda,
right.
but I think there's
Right.
only this one on the agenda.
Okay. I've jumped down the list here a little bit. I know you do have second downtown redevelopment grant that you're doing for like facade improvements, things like that. So far on that one, how much interest has been?
Well, we have
coming
more
from that?
applications than we have money, and that is always a good thing. And so that will incentivize us in maybe a year and a half to 2 years to apply for another one just because of the interest. And so I think we had over $4 million worth of requests, but we've only got $360,000 to work with. So the application process went well. I think that there's a lot of people interested in this type of a program, but we can't fund them all. There is a committee that will then select those applications that are of top priority. Some applications have been withdrawn simply because of some of the processes that you have to go through. Not our processes, but processes that are tied to the grant itself.
How much in terms of share publicly and privately is the same as it was in the prior
Same as it
grants,
was. I
or-
think
okay.
the property owner comes up with about 25%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thus, only a limited amount of money only goes so far, but
It does.
has been a nice program, though, because if you look around downtown, you can see where the improvements
Well,
were
this is
made. That's
actually the
really,
third
yeah.
downtown revitalization grant that the community has received since about 2013, 14, something like that.
Is that something you can kind of keep applying for, or did they
Yes.
limit you as to the number of the time frame where you can be awarded another grant, or how does
It
that?
depends on how they score you, and it all depends on upon the project that you have chosen. And if there is a project that you chose and you score very high, you got a really good chance of at least being in the running for the grant.
Any other communities that you know of around here that are doing the same thing with their downtowns on this grant program? I haven't seen the list as to what, but I imagine there's a-
and there was a list, and while we were on the list, there were some other communities that were, but I can't, quite
Okay.
frankly, I can't remember.
All right, that's all right. 8:38 is our time on Ask the Mayor with Mayor Stan Worth. We'll be back with more in a moment. Before we move on, I did want to make a note of congratulations to Marlene Gakle of the city of Beatrice. I guess she's been named Outstanding Library Volunteer through a designation by the Nebraska Library Association. She was nominated by Director Joanne Neiman, and she's helped out with their seed inventory special programs dealing with planting and things like that. So it's nice honor there.
Heavily involved in the gardening aspect and beautification of flowers and arrangements that she's a part of. I think the bandstand here on West Court Street is something that she has taken under her wing, and that she kind of heads and spearheads that group to pick out the right plants and everything that beautifies that location, but around the library also. She does a really nice job, and we congratulate her.
It's nice to, no matter how many resources you can draw upon, it's nice to have volunteers because it just helps out.
Yeah, that's kind of the backbone of any community is the volunteers. They don't anticipate recognition. They don't obviously get any pay, but they do it, and it's something that any community is very fortunate to have in their arsenal.
We say congratulations to Marlene Gakle,
Absolutely.
outstanding library volunteer, named by the Nebraska Library Association. One thing that's kind of coming up, I know the CRA is, I believe, has it on their agenda for tomorrow, and I'm not sure if it's coming up real soon on the City Council agenda, but there is a consideration of naming an area around what would be Russ's Supermarket in that area as a Blight and Substandard area. I think it's between Court to Ella, 13th to Hayes Street. The question comes up, I guess there's only a certain amount of area in the city you can name as
34%.
Blighted and Substandard.
Right.
This one can be added without much of a problem.
It can. This is more of a micro blighted and substandard area, and that is allowed under Nebraska state statute. And this is a study that was requested by Russ's Market. It was paid for by the owners of Russ's Market, and they have some future plans that they're working on right now. And so, hence, that's why we're having that's why the study was completed, and then the plan then comes to CRA tomorrow.
So you really won't have to remove any other area from what
That is correct. We will not. And we kind of did that about a year ago, where there were some areas that we knew we would never build on, some of those that were in the flood zone. So we removed those areas so that we could increase our percentage of what could be deemed blighted and substandard.
It's a nice program that sometimes it can serve as a possibility of forwarding a project that might otherwise not take place. Tax increment financing kind of helps with the infrastructure, things like that, and the things that go along with the development.
It's an incentive that most communities use if they are eligible to have tax increment financing, and it's just another tool to enhance economic development.
Okay. Coming up, not too distant future, I understand during the spring, I think it's April 1st to, I think, the end of October possibly, the Midwest Area Refuse Solutions, the city-operated or city-sponsored garbage service, offers a yard waste program each year, and I think it starts here April 1st. And if you want to, you can, if you don't want to take your own yard waste out to the compost site at the landfill, you can, for a small charge per month, you can sign up for that.
That's correct. And the fee is, I think, $9 a month. And you can sign up for it by calling Carrie McGrury at 228-5200, extension 4, and she'll sign you up for that program. Or you can take your waste, as you indicated, to the compost site. Pickup will be every Wednesday. So whatever yard waste you have, whether it's grass or any type of trimmings, and you can't have branches and things like that, but any other type of rose trimmings and things like that you can throw in there, and they'll pick it up.
I think there's, along with that cost of $9 a month, there's a limit of 5 containers of grass, 10 containers of leaves, plastic bags prohibited. So there are a few rules, but still that gives you quite a bit of room to.
It does.
Some things,
and when you sign up, you'll have a list of what some of those rules are.
Yeah. If you do sign up, too, you can't jump in and out of the program, as I understand. You have to stay in it for the rest of
Sure. And I think one other thing that, for instance, if you don't anticipate utilizing the program until late fall, you can sign up in September and October.
Yeah. Just pay the $9 monthly charge, and there you go.
That's right.
So, and hopefully we'll get some rain, so maybe we'll have to actually mow once in a while. It's been a tough early winter, just no moisture out there. A little bit of concern, too, by people in agriculture, for sure.
Well, without a doubt, and that's always the risk. And when you're in the farming operation, you're a gambler, and you're hoping that Mother Nature looks your way.
At least maybe we'll hope to get some today or tonight to start things off. One of the things out there you have going on right now, and that's, of course, the ongoing search for a new police chief to take over for Chief Bruce Lang, who will retire in June after multi-decades of service, and since, 35 some years as chief of police.
Yes.
So you have that going on, and you did some interviews here recently.
Yeah. The chief's exit date, I think, is June 3rd. We had 15 applications for the position. Interviews took place on Tuesday by a variety of folks. We had some retired police chiefs that sat down with the candidates. We had the Civil Service Commission sit down with the candidates as well as members of the public that were appointed. And they have narrowed this down to 4 candidates. There will be another series of interviews on March the 29th. And Civil Service and a couple of members of an appointed committee will take a look at these resumes, visit with those candidates, and then they will make their recommendation probably the second meeting in April of who they recommend. And we have some good candidates, and we again narrowed down to 4, and of those probably narrow it down to 3, and then that's what those are the folks that will be interviewed on March 29th.
The candidates themselves, where are they coming from in terms of size of community or size of department, and how much does that vary in terms of the people that you've been looking at? So
one community is twice our size. Another community is quite small. It's about 3,000 people. But again, those individuals, regardless of size of the community, have brought with them some really good qualifications, really good management skills. They've had all types of experience and training. They have degrees. I think it's important to note that it really doesn't matter what the size of the community is. The processes are still pretty much the same in what your role is and how you can manage people and how you effectuate what you need to do in your job on a day-to-day basis.
One of the things I know you made mention of earlier on one of our programs is that you'd like to kind of see a candidate, too, that has some dispatch or communication center experience. Of the ones that you've seen so far, do many of them meet that qualification?
At least 2 of them do. What we're looking for is someone that can manage and operate a dispatch center. Ours is a little different in that we dispatch for not only Beatrice-Gage County, but we also do it for the city of Crete, and we also do it for Richardson County. So there is quite a few moving parts to that. We have staff on hand that are extremely proficient in what they do. So that part of it isn't going to be the difficult part. The difficult part is keeping up with all the updates, keeping up with making sure that the systems are in operation and in good operation. We do have a director of our 911 system that is an integral part of all of this, and she will answer to the chief of police, but the chief of police has someone to rely on to take care of all the needs that is necessary to have your communication processes functional.
At this stage of the game, a person might ask, well, why don't you identify who the candidates are? And you're choosing not to do that at this time. Why is that, basically?
Well, I think it's these folks have jobs right now. And in some instances, maybe they aren't wanting to let that cat out of the bag yet. But in a lot of instances, they brought with them references. We won't really contact references until we've narrowed it down to the 3 that we're looking at, and then we'll identify who those individuals are.
I guess I didn't ask you before. Is Chief Lang, is he involved at all in the interview process, or do you try to stay away from that?
No, he was, and I was glad that he was, because he is certainly aware of what I'm looking for as a police chief and what the community really needs as a police chief. And so he was part of the interviews along with some of the retired police chiefs from around the state.
And the goal ultimately is what, April 1st or so, somewhere around
April
there?
1st to announce it, and then make the actual appointment. More than likely the second meeting in April. The position, whoever is going to accept that position needs to transition from where they are today. And so we're hoping they're on board maybe middle of May.
And that would give them a couple or 3 weeks to sort of get acclimated and maybe see the department in action and the processes and things like that.
You bet. And maybe just stand by and watch the processes and see how they function, and then make some changes if necessary.
All right. Back to wrap up Ask the Mayor today with Mayor Stan Worth in just a moment. Back to wrap up Ask the Mayor today. We have about 5-6 minutes left. Should mention you have an open house event coming up here on the Lincoln Street Corridor project. I think that's March 21st, I believe, right?
So that'll be Monday.
Before the council meeting. So,
Before the council meeting. It's going to be between 4:30 and 6:30 at Lincoln Elementary School. And the folks that have done the study have at least preliminarily looked at the study. We'll be looking at all different types of aspects of Lincoln Street, from 6th and Lincoln all the way to 22nd or 23rd and Lincoln Street. And they'll look at traffic volume. They'll look at the ease of pedestrian traffic, the possibility of street bike lanes on a portion of it, how it impacts property, and on-street parking, off-street parking. So there's a variety of things that they are taking a look at. They will have some design conceptions of what this may look like. This is a first of several meetings that they will hold with the public.
Of what you've seen so far with the consultant, anything stand out to you as good ideas, workable ideas, or things like that? Have you seen much of what they've produced?
I have
so
not,
far? Okay.
and I think I'm going to be as enlightened on Monday night as everybody else is. This is something that is going to be conceptual. This is the what ifs. What if we did it this way? What if we did it that way? And so there isn't anything that I think is going to be too surprising, or it may be surprising. We hope that there is a good turnout of those folks on Lincoln Street, or those folks that travel Lincoln Street, to kind of weigh in on what's going on. The experts that are doing this study for us want that input, and they need to have any kind of design redirection ideas that they can possibly get, and that comes from the public.
Okay. Coming up right after that, of course, that's 4:30 to 6:30 at Lincoln Elementary, and then you have the council meeting at school board administration offices at 7 on Monday night. One of the things on the agenda is an annual audit report.
From BKD, and that is going to be the first audit completed, and with the participation of our new finance director, Hannah Bell. And from all indications so far, that report is going to be really clean. They always have a few suggestions. We'll listen to those suggestions, but my guess is that city, again, is in good shape, following all the rules and doing what we're supposed to do.
And I think usually the Board of Public Works, what they review on their own, too, their audit as far as Public Works departments, everything seem all right there as well?
Everything seems to be on board, and they'll also receive an update on that report.
All right. You have, I think, on the agenda for Monday night also an agreement between the city and Blue Rivers Area Agency on Aging regarding the senior center.
We're going to assist them with some electricity to the tune of about $144 a month, just as the city owns the building today. And we're just going to assist them with some additional expenses that they would incur. We do the same thing with the garbage service. Blue Rivers Area Agency on Aging is an integral part of the senior center, and assists with preparing meals and doing everything that's necessary to keep the center open. And it's just a good partnership with Senior Center and Blue Rivers Area Agency on Aging to make this a really nice, cohesive environment.
Periodically on your council meetings, you have a city administrator's report, too, as things going on. Anything else stand out from that as far as the status of some projects that are going on?
There's a lot of things that are going to happen this year. There's a lot of construction projects. There's water main projects that are going to take place. Sanitary sewer work is going to be in full swing. The industrial park bypass, where we're going to remove some of the sewer flow from the industrial park around the residential area, which is really going to help that area considerably to cut down on the volume for residential usage. There'll be a lot of armor coating, asphalt rejuvenation. There is some concrete work that's being done on Lincoln Street. South 6th Street bridge rails will be installed. We hope sooner than later, just because of their appearance. We don't have them on site yet. They've been ordered. Should be here anytime, and then sometime between, I'm going to say, now this is quite a wide range, but early spring and early fall, we'll have them installed.
All right. Just about 30 seconds left. Understand you're looking at some agreement between Beatrice and Fairbury regarding street sweeping?
Leasing a street sweeper from us. They're going to rent a street sweeper from us during a couple of periods during the year, March, April, May, and then again in October, November, December. It's just a 14-day period during those months just to help assist a sister city. But in return, we get paid for it, and they're responsible for any breakdowns or repairs or anything else. So that's something that I think we charge them $40 an hour for the use of the street sweeper.
Okay. Stan, thanks very much for being with us.